Welcome back everyone. This is Ms. A. Lilly, Assistant Professor from PG and Research Department of Commerce, St.Joseph's College of Arts and Science Autonomous, Cuddalore. So in this video, we are just going to see about the topic communication, the essence of management from the subject principles of management. Before going into the topic, let us know the communication, the essence of management, what it is. So it is derived from the Latin word communis, meaning common. Communication is the sharing of ideas, facts, opinions, and attitudes. It is the foundation of all management functions like planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling cannot succeed without effective communication. The communication process, how the process will take place is first the ideas and information will be generated. That is, the sender formulates the message and it will be transmitted. That is, the second step is going to be the transmission. Message sent through words, signs, symbols, or gestures. So this is how the transmission will take place. And the next step would be the reception. That is from the receiver side. Receiver interprets and understands the message. And fourth process would be understanding. That is shared meaning achieved. What the intention of the sender would be achieved by the receiver when it is going to be understood. So communication is the process of passing ideas, views, facts, and understanding from one person to another, essential for helping subordinates understand management's expectations. Core principles of effective communication, that is, it should be complete, it should have timeline, and it should be very clear. That comes the clarity. Okay, so completeness, what is completeness means? Messages must be complete in all aspects to avoid confusion, conflicts, and delays. Timelines, that is, communication at a proper time to implement plans effectively, and it should be very clear. That is, message should be clearly worded with no ambiguity, avoid technical jargon. And principles that drive understanding. 3 principles should be followed. That is, first one would be attention, second one is understanding, and third one is objective. That is, attention is draw a receiver's attention to the message. Remember, action speaks louder than words. And second one would be understanding. Create messages that receivers can genuinely comprehend and process. Third one would be clear purpose enables correct communication type, channel, and timing. And next is essential supporting principles. What are the very essential things which is required to maintain these principles are 3 things. That is consistency, feedback, and adequacy. What is consistency is communication must align with the plans and policies. Inconsistency creates confusion and delay actions. And next would be the feedback, critical for effectiveness. Ensure that the recipient understand the message as intended. And third one is adequacy, that is, information must be adequate and complete for proper decisions and action plans. Barriers for communication, which is the very important concept you should understand before you are making the communication in an effective way. So what are the barriers is organization face numerous obstacles that hinder effective communication flow. Understanding these barriers is the first step to overcome them. First one would be information distortion. So messages altered when sent through third parties, especially in upward communication. So this should be overcome. And second one would be unclarified assumptions. Sender's assumptions may be intended or interpreted differently by the receiver. So this must be clarified properly. And next would be missing information. Important points omitted due to stress or time constraints may act as a great barrier. So environmental and attention barriers. So what would be these barriers are noise. First of all, first thing would be noise. So in organizations, that too in factories, this will act as a great barrier. That first one would be noise, that is machinery, office appliance, and loud conversations that hinder the communication process. And second one would be lack of attention. If the receiver is not going to give proper attention to the sender or the speaker, then that will act as a great barrier. So receiver's attention diverted by the external factors or internal thoughts. The person may look at you, but his thoughts, he may be mentally somewhere. So this will also act as a barrier. And third environmental or attention barrier would be selective attention. So receiver listens only the comfortable portions, ignoring messages conflicting with beliefs. So if he is going to against the ideas of the sender, no, he may not give proper attention. So this will also act as a barrier. Next would be lack of time. Insufficient time for sender to communicate or receive to understand in detail. So these and all will act as a barriers. And organizational or psychological barriers would be status differences. That is, employees prioritize communication only from the superiors while they ignore the messages from subordinates. Premature conclusions. That is, receiver concludes without understanding entire communication, leading to wrong conclusions. Lack of confidence. Receiver ignores the communication when lacking confidence in the sender. Poor retention. Work pressure or fatigue causes receiver to retain only portion of communication. So, language and perception barriers, badly expressed messages, semantic barriers, perceptual errors. So, all these act as a language and perception barriers. And building effective communication. How to make a effective communication is that success in management depends on mastering communication principles while actively working to eliminate barriers. That is, to apply principles. And second one would be identify barriers. Third one is continuous improvement and implement solutions. So applying principles and identifying barriers is something we have seen in the previous contents, and continuous improvements is very required. So by applying the principles and identifying the barriers alone is not enough. So we have to implement, and we also should check whether it is going on according to our plan. And that's it. Thank you.